AG hits opposition hypocrisy on stand your ground, gun-toting PNM MPs. Calling the PNM out on hypocrisy is going to be a never-ending exercise. Attorney General John Jeremy dropped a major bombshell claim while piloting the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Bill 2025 in the House of Representatives on November 26, when he declared practically all of the opposition MPs had not one, not two, not three, but sometimes 4 and 5 firearms. He did so as he accused the opposition of hypocrisy in not wanting to support the bill, which, if passed, makes it easier for people who so qualify to access legal firearms in the defense of themselves, their families, and their properties from the criminal element. Jeremy acknowledged that a multifaceted approach was required to successfully address crime, but asserted that government's first 2 steps are to create a home invasion offense and allow citizens easier access to licensed firearms. Stand your ground laws were promised by UNC political leader 𝐓𝐫𝐢𝐧𝐢𝐝 predecessor during the general election campaign. The PNM rejects the proposed legislation. In making out his case of PNM hypocrisy, Jeremy said, "Practically all of the members on the front bench opposite have not 1, not 2, not 3, but sometimes 4 and 5 firearms. Yet they tell ordinary citizens none for you, and they get to the point where they have to donate to the police, weapons which are of dubious legality." In August 2023, then Minister of Energy Stuart Young admitted to relinquishing ownership of a licensed firearm to the TTPS after then opposition leader Percy Besesser claimed this firearm was an automatic weapon days earlier on a political platform. Young firmly denied it was an automatic weapon, saying it was a legal gun, and he parted with it of his own volition. On November 26, in the House, Jeremy said the home invasion bill was required to give peace of mind to citizens amidst rising home invasions and murders. He said annual homicides went from 420 in 2015 to 624 in 2024. Citing a report comparing figures for the same period, Jeremy said serious reported crimes went from 825 per 100,000 people to close to 1,000 per 100,000 individuals. The essence of the bill is to allow citizens to defend themselves and their property by using deadly force if necessary when their place of abode is invaded by criminals. Jeremy said the Law Reform Commission made proposals after examining existing laws, drawing from self-defense laws from the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom, and public consultations. Griffith, hypocrisy by the opposition. Former police commissioner, 2018 to 2021, Gary Griffith, described the opposition's stance against the bill and its proposal to make it easier for law-abiding citizens to get firearms as blatant hypocrisy. "We had some of those on that side of the bench, PNM, harassing me to get firearms. We had a minister alone asking for about 13 firearms for persons very closely aligned to him. Another one asked for me to fast-track a firearm so he could get a special permit to get a firearm to kill pigs. That's why I call out the hypocrisy of opposition MPs who are upset about me issuing FULs to law-abiding citizens to protect themselves, their family, and their assets, whereas they, on the other side, it was okay for them to be contacting me constantly to provide firearms for them and their friends in high places." Griffith declined to go into details on the identities of the opposition politicians he referred to. The previous PNM-led administration launched a probe into the granting of firearm users' licenses during Griffith's tenure. Gonzalez, reckless behavior by AG. Speaking after Jeremy, was Port of Spain South MP and former minister in the Ministry of National Security, Keith Scotland SC, who did not address the AG's claim that PNM MPs had multiple firearms. However, opposition chief whip Marvin Gonzalez took to his Facebook page to condemn the AG's allegations. "This is the most reprehensible and reckless behavior again being displayed by the Attorney General. It is not downright false and malicious, but endangers our personal and family lives. The public must now ask the Attorney General to state the lawful means by which he now gets access to confidential information that should be within the sole domain of the TT Police Service. It is clear we are now living in dangerous times under this government, and citizens should take careful note. Let's be vigilant in protecting our cherished democracy," he wrote on his Facebook page. Scotland, reject bill. Despite the AG's fierce criticisms of PNM hypocrisy, Scotland held firm, rejecting the bill, which he described as draconian, disproportionate, dangerous, and socially reckless. He said the proposed legislation encourages the use of lethal force in trivial situations. Scotland argued that the clauses of the legislation also made it dangerous to homeowners who use lethal force. For instance, he said, while the proposed legislation removes a homeowner's duty to retreat during a home invasion, Clause 6 of the bill instructs the court to take into consideration whether there was a possibility that the occupant could have safely retreated in assessing the proportionality of the force used. Additionally, he argued that any homeowner who kills a home invader would be liable to face murder charges. This, he said, means the owner would be arrested and, with murder not being a bailable offense, except under specific circumstances, could spend up to 15 years in remand awaiting trial. Scotland asserted there wasn't a legislative shortage in the country, but rather a lack of enforcement. He said existing laws cover the offense and suggested government instead focus on strengthening law enforcement and policing, improving crime prevention, and improving social investments.